Nicole Shanahan, I'll just say it. I think she's legit. I think she's fucking legit.
Conspiracy theories are entering a dangerous...
Information is the oxygen of a democracy.
There's so much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true, that would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.
I met her in person twice. And I met her husband, more importantly, Jacob, who's super cool. He works on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, I think, or he did at one point. Super libertarian in thought, very cool. And people had this conspiracy theory because she was Jewish and married to Sergey Brin originally. But when you actually get to know her story and like learn the backstory of that, she actually gets even more based. And as a mom of a vax-injured kid, she's fucking over it. And if you won't, but when you get the chance to talk to her about Sergey and what happened there behind the scenes, even more based. And she knows some shit. And she's a fighter. So you're welcome to have your own conspiracy theories. Personally, I never trust anyone 100%. I'm always watching what people are putting out and judging accordingly with each piece of content. But this is a whistleblow for sure.
But what happened around the pandemic is that this whole...
What does based mean in the chat? Someone asked. Based, think of it like this. I've actually answered this to a lot of friends and family lately. Based is just slang for like in base reality, outside of the matrix, unplugged from the matrix. You've taken the red pill, so to speak. You are no longer in the propaganda world built on the lies of fake history and fake science and fake media and fake news and fake fucking movies and all this shit. You've woken up to what everything is, what's really going on. And it's this infinite process. You're never going to know everything, but you know that you're being lied to. And it's not just lefts and rights, and it's not just Dems and reps. It's not just fucking blacks and whites. It's all of it. It's all psyops all the way down. Turtles all the way down. Based means unplugged from the matrix.
Other segment. What I don't think many of the tech mafia wives realize is that they were used to set the groundwork for what was called like the reset. What is called generally as like the reset by the Klaus Schwabs.
Like
of
the
world.
Great Reset.
The Great Reset. Yeah. They openly talk about this Great Reset.
Yeah.
And she knows because she hung out with them because she married Sergey Brin for a little while. And then she took a bunch of his money, which in this case, I'm fucking all for. And now she's using that money to fucking fight back.
So the tech wife mafias, I believe, were kind of being conscripted in many ways, and their money especially was being conscripted in to set the groundwork for the Great Reset.
Yeah. Specifically through
Good interview technique right there. Not saying too much, just prompting the next piece, just adding a little drop to get Nicole to keep talking.
A network of NGO advisors, relationship with Hollywood, relationship with Davos, and their own companies. So if you look at like who's on these boards, who hangs out with each other, how the culture of tech wealth works, like Silicon Valley tech wealth, and that small group of people responsible for a huge amount of money and a huge amount of NGO activity across the United States. It's a really small group of people, and it's a really small group of people making these decisions.
Personally, I think there's a schism in the Illuminati class, so to speak. I think there's a left and a right to the Illuminati class. A lot of the higher up ones are chosen people on both sides. And the Klaus Schwabs of this world align with this leftist NATO kind of, a lot of them are tech in Silicon Valley. A lot of them are in Hollywood. This is the George Soros side of things. The leftist Jews working the immigration in through the South. All of these networks of NGOs bringing people up through Central and South America. But then I think there's also the right-wing side of it, the Bibi Netanyahu factions, the more direct Zionist mafia, the military-industrial complex in a lot of ways. I think there's a bit of a schism there. But ultimately, it's two wings of the same bird of evil Illuminati fucking control on the top. But they're vying for control, and they are in this wrestling match, and we're all collateral damage. And they all fucking don't care about us. And I suspect, just on face value here, I suspect that she's more referring to the left-wing side of this thing, from where she comes from, and from who she knew and what she is.
Yeah.
And then
And the tactics she's about
completely
to describe.
blind to everything else that's going on and how
Two cheeks of
their
the same ass.
groundwork is being used to then enable.
Ralph Barrick, I strongly do not think that she's in it. I very strongly don't think that. The more you learn about her personal story and her child that was irrevocably injured by the COVID vax, she's awake as fuck. And she's fighting back in a big way. And the moment that she smelled the rat in the MAGA coalition that she helped to form, the moment that she realized what was really going on, she checked the fuck out and got out of there. That's a big deal, right? Because we all see that now. We all see. It took me longer than it took Nicole to see. I was on that train longer than her. I mean, I was starting to see the smoke, but she smelled the smoke way before I did, got the fuck out of there, and went and thought for herself for a long time of like, okay, so what do I do about it now that I've realized that the political parties are both captured? It's all controlled. It's turtles all the way down.
These other policies, these great
Yeah, she was the funding behind
policies.
RFK that got RFK as far as
Now,
he got.
what this group of women doesn't realize is that in their haste, these women are all very busy.
Yeah.
They have multiple properties. They have tons of staff. They have staff issues, chronic staff issues. Their kids are busy. Their kids oftentimes have some health issues as well. A lot of them have relationship issues with their husbands. And a lot of them themselves are like medicated on SSRIs and antidepressants and all of that because it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, so it's chaos, and these women find their meaning through their philanthropic work.
Yeah.
Do you see where this is going? To summarize, she's saying that the tech wives of these billionaires, of these technocratic billionaires, that she once was one, and she met them all and was involved in all that. She's noting that when you get to know that crowd, you realize that these tech wives are being conscripted into a scheme, a plot, maybe even an operation, so to speak, that they are not really aware of what they're being used to do, where they are doing philanthropic work with all of their tech money and their husband's money and their, their family money to pour it into these leftist causes that are actually part of the op, part of the big picture globalist op, without even realizing it, thinking that they're helping the world, thinking that they're being generous. But it's very easy to pull the wool over their eyes because they are busy, medicated, mostly naive, out of touch tech wives, and they're getting used. And she's speaking to them. She's not really speaking to us right now. She's sharing with us, but she's speaking to them. And I think she's probably hoping that they're going to see this. Shout out to Damianti. Thanks for the sub.
Like I would find myself, that was my self-worth, was my philanthropic work, and I really believed in it. I really believed that I was giving Black communities a chance to,
and she comes from the left,
like rise
obviously.
up out of oppression. I really believed that I was helping Indigenous communities rise up out of oppression. And now that I look back and see how all those grants were forming, because my version of success is those communities are actually uplifted.
Yeah. Not just more money pumped into them.
Not just more money. No, the problems of the community have gotten worse. Crime in the community has gotten worse. Mental health in the Native community, the Indigenous community, has gotten worse. They will even say, the Indigenous community will even say that their biggest supporters in Congress have been Republicans, but yet they continue to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is this, it's like, the whole model is broken. The whole model makes everybody worse off. And
doesn't make the technocrats and the ruling class and the Illuminati bankers worse off. They're doing great. And they're not pumping money in just to waste money. They're pumping money in to fund all sorts of subversive programs under the guise of aid, under the guise of philanthropy. Goithrapi, yeah. Under the guise of, we're going to help the Blacks, we're going to help the Natives, we're going to help the Latinos, we're going to help the gays, we're going to help the trans, but actually they're funding all sorts of quiet little things that will come into play later. And we're watching them get activated right now. So shout out to Nicole for dropping that. That is a dangerous thing to talk about. And that's legit. That's legit. Thought you should know.
That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.